Yeah, TF2 has a severe new player problem, and again, this video doesn't go through all of the issues that new players face, but it hits on some of them that I think more people need to hear and more people need to consider whenever they're thinking about the game's current situation and where this game is going to be going in the future. Like, yes, of course, before anyone says anything and before we get into this, we understand. I think everyone here, raise your hand, class, if you agree with me. We understand that this video game is old. We know the video game reached 18 years of age this year. We understand that. That's not the problem. The problem is that this video game is still offered as a live, playable product that still earns Valve tens of millions of dollars a year. So at the bare minimum, we should expect at least some meaningful attention put towards this game in order to make it a better experience for those that decide to play it. It is not unreasonable to ask for improvements for this game so long as Valve offers it as live, playable, and monetizes the hell out of it. And anyone who thinks otherwise is a fucking lobotomite. Still can't believe people, including my friends, still defend this game, especially since now the bots are back again. They can't even be bothered to do the bare minimum and add new weapons and gadgets. The issue is not even like new weapons and gadgets. There are so many problems plaguing this game that make the new player experience, and frankly, the entire player experience, a chore. Playing normal vanilla Team Fortress 2 in casual mode. This because most of the problems exist in casual mode. Make playing TF2 an absolute chore. It is a fucking job to try and find a decent game in TF2. Either because the matchmaking system sucks, because you gotta deal with bots, because you have to deal with long queue times, because you have to deal with half-empty servers. There are so many problems plaguing this game that for whatever reason, people are allergic to addressing, and I don't understand that. That's why I also want to cover this video. This comes from a guy named Clush, I believe is his name. This guy's got like 700 subscribers, and he made a video expressing his grievances about something going on with the game, and this shit hit 14,000 views. That's nothing to shake a stick at. In a very insular community like Team Fortress 2's, a video with 14,000 views is very significant. That got out there for a community our size. So it just goes to show that it doesn't matter how big you are, if you speak your mind and you do it in a enjoyable and digestible way, people are going to listen to you. People are going to watch it. Because what's been proven now is we cannot rely on other YouTubers to do it for you. The buck stops with bots for them. They did fix TF2, the bots are gone, that's good enough. All of the other problems clearly do not exist. You cannot rely on these other big names to discuss this game's problems anymore. And you know, all the power to them. No one's obligated to talk about the game's problems. No, it's not their job to do that. That's their decision, that's their channels, they can manage that however they want. But you'd think, being the biggest voices in this sphere, people that have made followings and careers off of this game, they would be at least more open to addressing the problems that this game faces that affect minute-to-minute gameplay inside the main mode of the game, that is casual mode. They've showed us they're not willing to do that. They've signed off. So now it's up to us, the players, to actually make more of these videos and express our concerns, and that's why I want to support videos like this, so more people with no channels or no followers make these videos too, because people will seek them out and people will watch them. Because the sentiment that the game's not in a good position is probably the biggest one we have right now. And really, no other large creators are saying this aside from myself. Ideally, more voices should be saying these things beyond me, and so it's always comforting to see smaller guys, normal players, making videos like this too. Are TF2's removing all posts related to bots? Shocker, shocking, I know. You're not allowed to discuss TF2's problems on the forum for discussing Team Fortress 2. One post allowed, one thread per problem allowed because it cuts down on spam or whatever. That is so fucking stupid. If you actually go to RTF2 for any kind of meaningful discourse, just leave. It's the worst place to have it. Let's get started.
I've recently introduced some friends to TF2, and to get to the issue at hand as fast as possible, it was the most frustrating introduction I've ever had to do for any video game I play. And for me, highlighted just how broken and downright stupid the new player experience is nowadays. How this game has managed.
How many of you have tried to usher a friend into Team Fortress 2 and have had this same sentiment? How many of you? I know I have. I've introduced multiple people to this game, and it's been hell on earth trying to teach them what the fuck to do. Yeah, almost everyone, not almost everyone, a lot of people here have experienced this same thing. Trying to introduce a new friend into Team Fortress 2 and having to explain to them just what the hell is going on. Okay? This is just touching on gameplay and how little the game tells you about how the game works, which frankly has been a problem since day one that is removed from the casual matchmaking system. I'm tempted to make a video of the cutoff between a community and live service game and how embarrassing it is since I want to love this game and how we deserve better. Do it. Make videos, man. Got a friend in a TF2 lately, and one of the things they asked me was, can Pyro push me away? The only exposure to TF2 they had was Meet the Team. Yeah, I mean, that's how most people are still exposed to Team Fortress 2 is a YouTube video, either Meet the Team or any other video that people make. That's like still the #1 exposure people have to Team Fortress 2. About Valve presenting the game as constantly updated, people will tell you they wrote that description many years ago, so you can't expect it to be true now, which is complete nonsense. That doesn't matter. The game is still earning Valve tens of millions of dollars a year. If the game was earning Valve no money and they didn't update it at all anymore, then fine, whatever. It's all in the fucking wind. We shouldn't be expecting anything. But they still milk this game for money, tens of millions of dollars a year. We should expect the bare minimum level of maintenance and quality of life improvements. Things that actually improve the gameplay experience instead of making things worse, which is what they've been doing consistently for several years now. Every time they update the game, the experience is terrible. They keep pumping more maps into the game, which fucks up the matchmaking system. How many of you guys had a lovely hard time playing any of the new maps this Scream Fortress? Either because the map was broken or because queue times were fucked. How many of you guys experienced that? Playing the game? What? Playing the game? Yeah, playing? You want to play this game? No, you can talk about it all you want. You can make all the funny memes and posts you want about it. But you want to play this game? You just gotta get a little bit lucky. Yeah, a lot of people were experiencing fucked up queue times this past Scream Fortress. It happened last year too. And the thing is, man, like, these aren't short-lived problems. This shit went on for weeks. It went on for weeks until the event ended. That should not be happening. It should not be happening at all. And it is just not that hard to fix the broken matchmaking system by effectively removing it. But it's just not that hard. And it's okay to talk about these problems. The TF2 community is the best advertisement to not play the game. I have met a lot of people that don't want to touch the game solely because of the community. And that's a fair argument too, man. Like, you have to remember, the vast majority of the discourse surrounding this game comes from people that do not play it. And it largely exists on Twitter and Reddit. Mostly from people that do not actively play the game or have never played the game. They like the characters, they like the funny memes, but if you ask them to play the game, or the last time they played the game, oh, well, I haven't played in several years, or I've never played it, I just think they're funny. These are people that have a surface level engagement with the game itself, right? And so when you ask any actual player what they think the current state of the game is, you're gonna get negative responses. Because anyone that consistently plays Team Fortress 2, even now in present day, somehow puts up with the game's problems, will tell you the game is not in a good state. Hence, more people gotta be talking about it.
To make players stay in current year just utterly confounds me. So let's start. Let's introduce our new friend to this wonderful game. Okay, so before you hit play, you're gonna wanna get into the settings and change your FOV and enable hate sounds and make sure you're more... Yeah, it has been no miss.
Yeah, that's like step one. Step one is the game's default settings are terrible. They only just recently changed the default resolution to not square, not 4:3. They just changed it from 4:3 not too long ago. And there are many other default settings that are not really good for a fresh player, especially by modern day standards. FOV being 75, the giant weapon view models, all that stuff, right? How to use the console, how to change your settings and what the settings mean. The game does a very poor job at conveying any of this information. And has largely since day one. I had 4 games in a row that instantly ended. It's a shame billionaire Valve can't afford to fix matchmaking. See, Mr. Animated Workshop, I think you're just a bigot. I think you're racist. That problem does not happen. It does not exist. Clearly just queue for 2 forward or upward, and you will never have this problem. Obviously, you're just playing the wrong maps. Just go out of your way to not play content that is in the game and offered as playable. Don't play that. Go play this other content instead. Because you're just queuing for the wrong things. Queue for the right things if you want to play this game despite these other maps and game modes being offered as playable. No, just ignore them. And only play these same 4 maps over and over again. That's obviously your problem. It's not a game problem, it's a skill issue. As the kids say, it's a skill issue. Yeah. It is a shame that a multi-billion-dollar company cannot be asked to do anything about this game. But right now, he's just talking about the initial player experience of getting your settings set up and how to actually play.
that the default settings of TF2 is one of the first major hurdles, and has been for as long as I've played it. There have been multiple videos talking about this point alone.
Those are evergreen videos, mind you.
For as long as I've played it. There have been multiple videos.
If you start playing TF2, these are 2 videos you should watch right away that tell you how to actually set up your game for a more enjoyable experience.
Videos talking about this point alone. The default settings exclude some major quality of life settings that should just be on by default. Not gonna linger on this one too much.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm not the kind of person that likes to click on people as medic and have auto heal. I like holding down the mouse button as I heal people. Am I the only one that does that? People call me crazy for doing that, but I love holding down the button as I'm healing people. It feels more engaging as I play medic. I know some people like the auto heal thing where they just click on someone once and the beam stays attached, but I prefer holding it down. Because when I'm playing medic, I love the feeling of filling up men. Hence, I gotta hold down the button.
But making your friend go through 2 extremely unintuitive settings menus for the first half hour is...
Well, okay, I will say, to call the menus unintuitive, that's not actually true. I think the menus... TF2's... That's one thing I will disagree with in a lot of people, and what a lot of people say about things like the server browser and TF2's menus. TF2's menus aren't unintuitive, especially like the normal settings menu that you see here on the left. This menu type is pretty standard even for modern games. The problem is the advanced options. There are just so many. This one's fucked up. The advanced options menu is like, there's no tabs. It's this long list, right? But that's also standard in a lot of games. It's just that there's just so many settings and they don't sort things very well. Whereas in a game like War Thunder, I know War Thunder is not very well maintained. I know War Thunder has its problems. I know Gaijin has its problems. But one thing I will say that's nice is in War Thunder, you can search for a setting. In the settings menu, you can type in the setting you want and it'll pop up and you can change it. A little quality of life thing like that would go a really long way in a massive advanced options menu like this, and TF2 just doesn't have that. That would be a nice little extra thing. The volume of settings anyways, at least the ones here in the normal menu are, they're pretty standard for most games, so I will disagree with that. But the advanced options menu, yeah, that's a little bit of a mess.
Just really annoying. In no other game have I had so much of a process to make the game playable for someone before. And that's not even including interp commands and the such that will help the game feel way more responsive.
Changing in-game settings, you know, things like interp, maybe even going so far as to set up a config depending on the kind of machine you're running. Even just messing with the settings in your game can take quite a while.
I've never used the dev console in a Source game before. If that's not the embodiment of the word unintuitive itself, then I do not know what is. And once
any kind of advanced settings where you're having to mess with the interp and you have to actually manually enter these things in the console, that sucks. But then like the alternative is like, okay, well, just go set up a config. That's even less intuitive for someone that's just starting to play the game. What do you mean I have to go in the game files and download this other text file and put it in this folder so my game can run better? What do you mean the game just doesn't have the settings in there that will do that for me automatically? That sucks. That really sucks. And having all of this initial work to perform, and this is the thing, this is optional, especially now as the power behind PCs has gone up. I will say TF2 is still horrifically unoptimized, especially for newer hardware, because mind you, this game was made for computers in 2007. But it's not a complete necessity to make these changes. You can still play the game out of the box, but if you're wanting to stick around, if you're wanting to have a better initial player experience, so those hooks are dug into you deeper, generally in your best interest to go through all of these settings. They left the default settings bad so people would change it to their preference and feel a more personal connection to the game, its conditioning. No, they condition you with item drops. That's how it's been since 2010. Yeah, since 2010, they condition you with item drops. They dig the hooks into you, not with the good gameplay, but because when you get an item drop, you now own something. You now own something inside of this free game. Like, shit, this is something I actually own now. I'm now inadvertently invested into this game. And that's what gets people to stick around. It's like, oh shit, I got a hat drop? What do you mean I can craft something? Oh my god, I got an achievement item. That makes you stay, because like, oh fuck, I can get more of this. It's a certain level of this, it's this insidious fuckery that they perform with microtransactions in people's heads. And not even microtransactions, like the item drops are free. It fucks with your brain and sparks off that extra layer of investment.
With that, it's time to queue for a game. Eventually.
Like...
Yeah, okay, there we go.
Yep.
Alright, friend, pick your class and let's...
So, imagine you're a brand new player. We've all been there. I remember my first time playing TF2. Imagine you're a brand new player. And aside from the game's mechanical complexity, aside from all of the default settings you have to change and what have you, imagine if your first player experience was during this year's Scream Fortress. During the opening day, opening few days rather, because they didn't address these issues until the following week because Valve had to take their weekend off, and with the game breaking, nah, fuck it, that can wait until Monday. Imagine your first ever player experience was this year's Scream Fortress, where you just could not play the game. You would queue, you would queue, you would queue, you would queue, then you get in the map, and uh-oh, the new map is broken. What do you mean? Is this normal? Is this how the game is supposed to function? Do I normally have to wait this long? What do you mean the game just ended? What do you mean I got put into a game and then 30 seconds later, the game's over? I didn't even have enough time to learn what I'm supposed to do. Imagine if that's your first... And that is the initial player experience for so many people. We wonder why this game does not retain players. Like, this guy said at the beginning of the video that it's a miracle that any new players stick around. Very few do. Like, if you go to SteamDB, like, do I have SteamDB, like, tabbed on here?
No.
Like, if you go to, say, SteamDB, which is further down the list these days, right? I know I showed this in a video, I know people are gonna say you showed this before, but players are not sticking around. For the past 3 years, player counts have been slowly going down. The baseline has been dropping because players are fed up, and new players are not staying. TF2's player retention is terrible, for multiple reasons. It's very rare that new players stick around, and when they do, they have to stomach a lot of things that every time they play, it just begs for them to leave. It begs for them to go find a different game that does not have these problems, primarily with its matchmaking system. I honestly tried to have a legit conversation with a pro casualer. What part of re-adding X makes the game worse? All I got was, you're bad, it's not important, back to you're bad, and I already answered that by calling you bad. I've said this 100 times. There is no serious argument in favor of casual mode. There is no serious argument against making casual mode behave more like quick play, behave more like how the game did before 2016. There is no serious argument in favor of anything about casual mode, aside from being able to select your maps individually. That's the only thing casual mode has that is positive and good. Everything else, it's indefensible. And anytime you try to engage in a serious conversation with someone that actually defends casual mode, they cannot defend their position. I have not seen a single real argument in favor of casual mode. And I dare anyone, make a serious defense in favor of casual mode. And say nothing is wrong, and say nothing needs changing, and say it's totally fine. Right? Because for whatever reason, a lot of people are very hesitant to concede that there's something wrong with the matchmaking system, that there's something wrong with casual mode. I don't understand why. Just watch that Star video, Chud, the one that predates the updated version of Quick Play. Yeah, the one, before the update that removed all of its problems and made the system objectively better for about 2 solid years. Yeah.
Never mind, we'll just load into the next map. Oh, everyone left. Guess we'll have to start a new search.
Again, imagine if that's your first player experience. You get put into a map and no one is there. Is that normal? Why is the server only have 5 other people here? I guess I'll keep playing? Oh, no one's showing up. Oh, the game's over. Is that how it's supposed to go? Do I just re-queue now? Like, it's the initial player experience is terrible in so many ways.
Genuinely cannot recommend that any new player touches casual as their first experience. I don't want my friend to go through an already annoying introduction process and then queue into the stupidest, dumbest, most idiotic way of playing TF2. Like,
yeah,
what am I supposed to say? Oh yeah, this is just how it is. No.
Yeah, that's what everyone says. This is just how it is. No other video game on the market, not one, with a matchmaking system that offers a multiplayer matchmaking experience, does the same shit that Team Fortress 2 does, and operates the same way that Team Fortress 2 does. Not one.
they're never gonna touch TF2 again. I had to recommend them to find a community server that was mostly vanilla TF2.
Yes.
Luckily, we managed to stumble upon one that was in the region completely by accident. Since we were from different regions, I wanted to find a place where they could play with low ping. In the end, I wasn't even the one who found it. And prior to that, they just play with high ping on the server I usually go to. And this isn't a
That's
perfect
just the
solution
worst
either.
part.
There are many other factors that come with community servers. Things like a note.
And that's something else too, man. Community servers used to be a thriving part of this game, where that was an alternative to Valve servers. If you didn't find a good game, if you just weren't in the mood to play on a Valve server, you had so many community servers to choose from, running all different flavors of TF2. Vanilla, 32 player, all crit, what have you. You know, 24/7 high tower, 24/7 something or other. There were so many different ways to play TF2 in community servers, and then guess what happened? Matchmaking arrived and killed community servers. Hundreds, if not thousands, went extinct in like 2 months' time. And now what are we left with? We are left with a handful of servers that can barely stay populated, aside from Uncletopia and Skyle, and the mainstay handfuls of community servers that somehow still get traffic, right? And the only reason why mine have managed to get popular is because I advertise the fuck out of them. ZestyJesus.com/servers. Play on my vanilla TF2 servers, 2 North America and 2 European servers. Go play right now. It's the only way my servers get populated. And if anyone else tries to make a populated server, even just running the vanilla game or any other variant of the game, they just stay dead. Because what did Quick Play do? Quick Play inadvertently exposed players to community servers because you had the option to queue for community servers, and because you could find Valve servers in the server browser. Whenever you searched for a specific map to play, guess what also popped up? Community servers. You were exposed to community servers in multiple ways, and that helped them stay alive and helped them thrive. But as soon as Valve removed both of those things, guess what? Community servers died. And that was entirely Valve's fault. And people just forget that. People completely forget that.
Higher skill.
And so whenever someone says, go play a community server, just say where? Uncletopia? No thanks. I don't want to play Comp Light with a draconic moderation. No thank you. I want to say a slur, please. No, can't do that in Uncletopia. It's a joke, by the way. Half a joke. Okay, go play Skyle? Well, I love these performance-locked servers that are often filled with bots and donator perks and other bullshit like that. That's always fun. I love Skyle servers that spoof their ping and their player counts. So then what do you got? A handful of other vanilla servers, like mine. Check them out. People say that how dare you ask for better standards are the kind of people to send to the coal mines. Like I said earlier, these are people without taste. We said this on Idle Time. These are people without taste. These are people that exist and do not have standards because they don't have internal dialogue. I fully believe this. The people that don't have standards or taste completely lack internal dialogue. They exist solely off of external stimuli, moving from stimulus to stimulus. They don't have deeper thoughts. They exist to consume and nothing else. If you present them with literally anything that jiggles about and has colors and noise, they're gonna eat it up. It doesn't matter what it is. They'll fucking devour that shit like it's their last meal on Earth. Or if they haven't been fed in months, they'll fucking eat that shit. It doesn't matter to them. That's why I ignore those people. They have no taste. They have no deeper thoughts about anything they interact with because they solely exist to be stimulated. And that's it.
Level, playing with the same people over and over and trigger happy admins. Of course, these differences from Valve servers can be spun as positives as well, but it's still a different experience that might not be everyone's ideal. But
yes. And heaven forbid that we want the main mode of the game that has been in the game since 2016, and Valve servers have been in the game since 2011. Heaven forbid that we want the main mode of the game to be consistent and playable, offering the standardized experience that people can consistently go back to. Heaven forbid we want that. That's also an argument against just go play on community servers. At least community servers, you can actually play the fucking game. But then you have to deal with what he just said. You gotta deal with moderators, you gotta deal with rules that are not the same as Valve's rules, right? They are inherently different experiences no matter what server you go to. Including my own. My servers are different experiences because I don't run all of the maps in the game. I ban the Vaccinator and the Short Circuit, okay? Heaven forbid we want that consistent vanilla experience, which should be Valve servers. They committed to that as soon as they started offering their own servers as live in 2011. And they have failed on that commitment since 2016.
Nitpicked compared with the casual system. What? Okay, new player aside, how is this friendly to anyone? New player or
Like,
old? How?
That would also, like, kind of shock people. Like, imagine your first ever experience. You play a game for 2 minutes. Your first ever game in TF2 happens to... Okay, and because of the data I took from all the people that play casual mode, 10% of your games, 1 out of 10 casual matches, you join when a game is about to end in less than 60 seconds. 10% of your games you join right when it's about to end, if not after it's already ended. So 10% of the time, a new player's first experience is they get in the server and seconds later, not minutes, seconds later, the game is over, everyone leaves, and these big metal doors just go and slam in their face. What other emotion would that cause other than confusion? What do you mean the game's over? I just started playing. What's this thing? This is a map? We're voting for a map now? Why is everyone leaving? That would confuse the shit out of any new player. And that happens 10% of the time. 10%!
How is this sustainable?
It's not.
Alright.
It's not. The map bloat is another severe problem that, again, also impacts the new player experience, because what happens when you have now 122 maps just in the vanilla rotation? For Scream Fortress, we had over 180. Absolute insanity, right? What does that do? That spreads players extremely thin, because after the people initially pile into the brand new maps, they get distributed across all the other Scream Fortress maps, and they're constantly hopping around as they finish their contracts. And especially now, because Valve made it so you don't have to follow your contracts in a specific order. Don't get me wrong, that is a good thing. Thank God I don't have to play on garbage maps before I can play the good ones and do those contracts. Thank God I can pick and choose what contracts I want to do, which would be great if we didn't have 60 fucking plus Scream Fortress maps. Why are there 60 of them, or 50 of them? It's 60 now, I think. It's over 60. That's fucking insane. 60 fucking Scream Fortress maps, or 58, however many. It's a lot. It's too many. And what does that do? Spreads players too thin, increases your queue times, makes the matchmaking system fucking break consistently. This has been happening year after year, since 2022. And I have the proof of that. I have the proof of that in that fucking casual mode data, because you can look at the queue times during every fucking update, and what happens to the queue times for at least a week during every Scream Fortress since 2022. Queue times quintuple. On average, queue times fucking quintuple whenever an update drops. Not just any update, but specifically when they unlock the Halloween rotation. Every fucking year this happens, and it's going to keep getting worse. Average queue times during Scream Fortress just keep going up year after year. It was consistent from 2016 to 2021, and then for some fucking reason they hit some magical threshold. Now since 2022, every Scream Fortress queue times skyrocket. I don't know what the fuck happened, but it keeps happening. And since 2022, the average queue time during Scream Fortress for at least a week keeps going up, and it's gonna keep getting worse. Because the system sucks! It is broken! And if you're a new player, and that's your first ever experience, it's not really a big incentive for you to stick around. Because other than YouTube videos, what is the number one thing that people cite as the main reason why people come play this game? It's the updates. Come play the funny updates. Come play in the funny bumper cars. Come look at the funny hats. But you can't even do that anymore. You can't even play the new fucking content because the matchmaking system fucking breaks. And of course it's free. Let's be real. That's the main appeal. It's a free game. Don't get me wrong. Ignoring the fact it's free and thrust in your face as soon as you download Steam. Definitely the biggest funnel for people to get into TF2. And aside from YouTube videos, it's the fucking memes. It's the hats. It's all the shit you see is like, oh, funny, wacky updates. I want to experience this. And you're queuing for 10.5 minutes. And the map is broken. And the map is empty. Oh, the game just ended. So nice. Oh, and bots now again too. Lovely. Great initial player experience. So many incentives for you to stick around. On top of the fact, the game tells you nothing about how to play, and the default settings are terrible. TF2 Gold Rush will be the best place for new players to experience TF2 for the first time. It's really sad to tell a friend to download TF2 and then download a mod for TF2 in order to get a good experience that launches tomorrow. Let's go. I don't know. Thing is, I haven't been keeping full tabs on Gold Rush. I don't know if they're actually going to address the two problems that have been in the game since launch. In that the game tells you nothing about how to play aside from tips on the tip screen. That's all. Beyond that, the game tells new players nothing. The in-game tutorial is incomplete for the 4 classes it offers information on and just completely ignores the other 5. I don't think they address that problem. So those problems will still persist, and I don't know if that... Can you even adjust default settings in a mod? Does someone know that? Can you adjust what the default settings are inside of a mod? Like when you boot it for the first time, the interp is better and the FOV is better? Can you do that? Figardo says yes, and since he's like a tech guy and he's my buddy, I trust him. So, okay. That's confirmed. You can adjust default settings in a mod. So that's cool. So in that regard, hopefully they did, and made that better for new players. And again, the lack of information is an issue separate from casual matchmaking, which has been in the game since day one. That's a separate issue that would have to be addressed in different ways. More fleshed out tutorial, and I had this other opinion of mine that I think is perfect, and if you disagree with me, I'm gonna fucking kick you in the balls. My opinion is that a really good way to introduce new players to unlocks is with contracts. They started doing this in 2017 with Jungle Inferno, where they made a contract for each brand new weapon. Like, hey, here's this weapon. Here, you get a version of it for free. And you don't have to complete the contract, you just get the weapon. But the contract says, hey, get X amount of kills, or heal X amount with the banana, or heal 5 teammates with the fucking banana, you know, fly through the air 3 times with the jetpack. Just very introductory tasks that familiarize a player with how the weapon works, right? And they don't have to do the contract if they don't want to. You just get a free, uncraftable, untradeable version of the weapon instead of having to wait to get it with an achievement or with a drop system. You just get all of the unlocks for free straight away as soon as you install the game. Again, uncraftable and untradeable, so they can't be farmed. But for a new player, and of course they'd have to give a more fleshed out tutorial with all the vanilla weapons and what those do before you can even consider those contracts. But like, that would be a really good way to introduce new players to all the unlocks in this game, instead of just plopping it in their inventory with a very short description and saying, bye, have fun, good luck figuring this one out, especially something like the Huntsman. It's like, here's this thing, I thought Sniper had a rifle, what does this do? It's like, oh, you can headshot people with this thing? It's like, you know, especially like mechanically unique weapons, right? Like Pyro graduating from the shotgun to the flare gun. It's a completely different weapon. Sure, it's intuitively simple, shoot flare at person, set them on fire, but all of the ins and outs of having to lead your shots, and you can, you know, get a crit, getting crits with it, things like that. It's like new players are like, oh, you can, or something like with a detonator too, right? You can have some advanced completion task attached onto that, like set multiple people on fire with a detonator blast, right? Because like all these things that aren't intuitive to a brand new player could be easily introduced to them with a contract. And yeah, Demo Knight stuff too. It's like, here's your sword, here's your shield. It's like, oh, hit right click to charge. It's like, okay, what does that do? Whoa, what the fuck? And it's like, you have to figure it out all on your own without nothing really guiding you. And I think contracts would be really good. A good way to introduce players to unlocks, anyway. And maybe even the vanilla classes, because we had a lot of good contracts for just the vanilla classes. You had a soldier contract, you had a sniper contract. Those would be good too. They're not replacements for tutorials, don't get me wrong, but that'd be a nice way to ease people in. On top of a more fleshed out tutorial that tells you not only the basics of each class, but also the basics of the gameplay itself. Like, we don't have a payload tutorial. We don't have a King of the Hill tutorial or an attack defend tutorial. Or we do actually, it's like the very rudimentary Dust Bowl tutorial. But beyond that, like, players aren't even told the basics of gameplay. Like, I showed a clip of this in my You Will Not Play video, where it was like obviously someone's first time ever playing Payload, and they're on the red team, and they walk up to the cart, and they're like, oh, it's not moving, because I think they thought they could push it back? That, like, the game doesn't tell them why it moves at all. You just have to walk up to it and go, oh shit, being close to it makes it move. Like, you have to figure that shit out on your own. And then on defense, like, how do you stop it? Well, you can't stand in front of it, it just keeps moving. Or it stops if other players are around, rather. The game tells you none of that. And then something else too, it's like, oh, if they capture a point, like, what do you mean they get more time? You know, and I put a clip of that in my You Will Not Play video too. It's like, what? The clock reset? What, like, that players are told nothing. Having more information like that. And of course, you don't need like this 9,000 long hour or like 9,000 long page tutorial that tells you all of the intimate details of the game, but just very, very basic gameplay stuff being handed to the player in an optional tutorial that's not a chore to breeze through. That would go a really long way for player retention in Team Fortress 2. Yeah, I should not have to read the wiki. I should not have to go out of my way to read the wiki to figure out how to play this game, or any video game. And it's unfortunate that's becoming more the standard for a lot more modern titles. Contracts are one of the best ideas they had, and in classic Valve fashion, they have let that to rot. I know, contracts were so cool. They breathed so much new life into the game. Because how many of you fall into a rut when you play TF2? Seriously, how many of you, like, you have your class, you have your maps you like to play on, and that's what you stick with. That's all you do. Like, that's why people main a class in TF2. It's the class they play the most. Sure, you deviate from that a little bit. You play some other classes here and there, but you primarily play one or two things. Very few people say play every class evenly, or people tend to avoid something that doesn't quite interest them. But contracts breathe a lot of new life into the game where it's like, hey, why not try Pyro? Why not try out the flare gun? You know, you normally play Demo Man, why not play Pyro for a bit? Here, you do this contract, you get a little toy at the end. That breathes a lot of new life into the game. It's like, man, I never experienced this before. This is actually fun. Boom, another 500 hours ready for that player to experience because they'll just sink that time into Pyro. Because they otherwise would have not gone out of their way to try it. Contracts are an amazing thing for a game like Team Fortress 2, because a game as mechanically complex as TF2 that offers so many different ways to play just the vanilla game, that encourages players to engage with all those assets and all those facets of play. And it's a shame that Valve just left that to rot and in exchange just, use contracts as a vehicle for more content in Scream Fortress. Anyways, that was a long-winded rant. Let's keep going.
We got a game. Here, I'll go to the other team so I can demonstrate this. Oh yeah, I can't switch team. Well, guess they'll have to figure shit out themselves.
Pre-meet your match player spotted. Can't change teams. Another fun player freedom that Valve removed in favor of garbage matchmaking that does not work. Man, there was a time where you, the player, had the freedom. You had the freedom to play with or against your friends whenever you wanted to. You have not been able to play against your friends inside of vanilla Valve servers for 9 years. That's a player experience that's been missing from the vanilla game for 9 years. They took that away, and they've never given it back. It is so fucked up, because it is so fun to play against your friends. It's so fun to play against your friends, but you're not allowed to do that anymore, unless by some miracle you get auto-balanced, which rarely happens because auto-balance is, guess what, also broken. Making a video about that real soon. Oh yeah, the dueling minigame, something that was specifically put into the game to not only interact with people on the enemy team, but also you can duel your friends. Can't do that anymore, unless you're in a community server or your friend gets auto-balanced. And this option too, I find this insane. Keep party members on the same team. Talk about facilitating steamrolls even worse. The casual matchmaking system sets up steamrolls automatically with the party system. You're gonna have to play against this 6-stack and you have no fucking choice. Bye-bye, time to queue for a new server. Uh-oh, 4 cheaters on the enemy team because the game just does that automatically for them? Bye-bye, time to queue for a new server. So fun, so nice. I fucking hate that argument too, where it's like, well, back with team switching, you could just stack the teams whenever you wanted to. No. Because the only way you could switch teams is if there was a slot available on the other team. The other team needed to have fewer players than yours if you wanted to switch teams. So stacking more than 2 people was a fucking chore. And when that happened, and when there was a stack, and when there was a steamroll, guess what we had? Scrambles. Yeah. We had team scrambles that shook things up. Instead of having 2 short rounds, the entire server resetting, everyone leaving, and then finding a new server. Instead of having all of that downtime, instead of just queuing for the same map again because you didn't have your fill, you just had a 5.5-minute round on Harvest. You want to play some more Harvest, but sorry, now you have to wait 2.5 to 3 more minutes to start playing again. Because the server simply must reset, because you must have a win-loss condition, because you simply must have a skill rank in this game for a matchmaking system that works so well all of the time. You simply need that. You don't understand. TF2 is going to beat Overwatch, guys. It's not too late. It's going to be the next big esport. You have no idea. TF2 is going to be the next big esport. 2025 is TF2's esport year. Just wait. It's going to happen. These skill ranks are super important. People really care about these skill ranks that you can't even see because your MMR rank is hidden and your casual rank has nothing to do with your MMR. It only has to do with the number of points you earn. The win-loss condition means nothing in Team Fortress 2 because the matchmaking system doesn't work, and then you just waste more time wanting to play the same map again, when instead, you can have a 45-minute map timer. You can just scramble the teams and keep playing without the 30 minutes of downtime before you're allowed to start playing again, and the server getting gutted because everyone doesn't want to wait. They just want to keep playing. Because just re-queuing for a new server is oftentimes faster depending on the map you choose and depending on what region you live in, of course. Because if you live in Australia, good fucking luck. But if you live in North America or Europe, faster to re-queue, usually takes less than 60 seconds to find a new server instead of waiting for the server reset in order to start playing again. And to top it all off, after the server resets, even if all of the players stay in the same server, guess what happens? The teams get scrambled anyways. An auto scramble happens anyways, even if all of the players stay in the same fucking server. So what's the fucking point of resetting the server, making everyone wait 3 minutes to start playing again, when you can just have scrambles do it for you with no interruption, instantly, and you just get to keep playing again? I'm waiting for any serious defense of casual mode. I'm still waiting.
If only this fucking setting existed. Coming soon.
No, it'd be bad.
Yeah, I guess soon, according to Valve, means a whole godforsaken decade. I'm genuinely proud of anyone that managed to stay playing TF2 after the god-awful introduction the game gives them. And the only one who can mitigate issues with it is someone like me or my friend Kimon, who's been playing this game for thousands of hours, who could usher them in. I had to warn them multiple times that getting into TF2 is the most unwelcoming and stupid experience with a video game they'll have. TF2 has never been an
and
easy
all
game.
These problems are so easily avoidable. They're so easy to fix, especially for a multi-billion-dollar company with infinite resources and manpower. But they just don't do it. They just don't do it.
Grasp as a new player, but I would like to point my fingers towards a specific update that made the issue way worse. The addition of casual mode, in retrospect, just looks like the most spectacular failure to turn a fun shooter into a competitive esport. TF2 and esport just sounds like two things that should not be put together. It could work in niche rule sets, but not standard.
And that's only when TF2 works as an esport, is when they change the rules and the fundamental principles that are behind the game. It's the only time TF2 works as an esport. Not the vanilla fucking game. And not the weird competitive format they gave us in Meet Your Match, no sir.
12v12 that the game was balanced around. It completely uprooted how the game was being treated going forward, with a completely backwards view on what TF2 the game was. It'd be like Nintendo.
No, Valve knew what the game was. Valve knew what they were doing. They knew what TF2 was. They knew that TF2 was the relaxed, casual shooter of which the vanilla gameplay was not designed to facilitate esports. But they just had to chase the bag. They had to chase that bag. They had to get a competitor for Overwatch out there, and they got pressured into doing it. And that's why they did what they did. They took their working formula from Counter-Strike and Dota and said, you know what? Fuck it. Put that for TF2 too. And guess what happened? Oh, they broke the fucking game, and it's still broken 9 years later. Casual mode being up for so long and Valve not wanting to walk back things they've made, we are not likely ever going to see casual mode removed, sadly. Thing is, we don't need to... Let me be real with you here. We don't need to remove casual mode. We don't need to bring back quick play. All you gotta do is you gotta listen. Come a little closer. We'll let you in on a little secret. We'll let you in on a little secret. All you gotta do is slip the pill in the piece of cheese. That's all you gotta do. We don't have to advertise the removal of casual mode. We don't have to advertise bringing back quick play, a system that more than half the player base never experienced, because what's someone going to do if they're presented with something they know nothing about? Well, they're going to be a little hesitant. They're not really going to know what's going on. But what you do is you slip the pill in the piece of cheese, and you ask to improve casual mode. You ask to fix casual mode by making it function like quick play. But you don't say quick play. You don't say the nasty, nasty word that is quick play. No, we don't dare say quick play in this house anymore. That is a disgusting word. It's a filthy word. You can't say that, no. But what you do is you say you fix casual mode. But you slip the pill in the piece of cheese. You keep the facade. You keep the little stim badge. You keep the levels, but everything else under the hood. That's quick play. That's the old server settings. That's what you ask for. Instead of overhauling and removing the entire system. It's still the same shit. It's still the same end goal. But we're not removing casual mode. We're not gonna bring back quick play. Listen, little secret. It's basically doing that. It is basically removing casual mode and basically bringing back quick play. But it's slipping the pill in the piece of cheese. Because what I've learned over the past 6 months is that a lot of people are very hesitant to support a system they know nothing about. But they are willing to acknowledge the game's problems and they do acknowledge things that quick play had and the old TF2 server settings had that would make for a better experience. They just can't make the connection that they just want quick play.
Nintendo suddenly deciding that Mario Party is now a competitive esport, and now you're gonna be put into ranked online lobbies instead of...
Do people play Mario Party competitively? There's no way. There's no way people play Mario Party competitively. I refuse to believe this, man. It's a niche thing. If it's a niche thing, sure. But competitive Mario Party sounds haunting.
Just playing with your friends on a couch. I started in 2014. I had a brief moment of experiencing the quick play system.
He had one solid year of quick play. One solid year.
And then it was just ripped away from me in favor of this. And maybe it would...
And listen, for the record, because I know people are going to be bitching in the comments when I re-upload this one. People are going to be bitching. Yes, quick play was not a perfect system. Still had its flaws. But the system we have now is infinitely worse than quick play ever was. The experience that casual mode offers is infinitely worse than quick play ever offered, even with its worst flaws that Valve fixed in 2014. And they could have perfected it, which they were well on the path towards doing, and were actively doing through 2016. They kept adding shit for quick play in 2016. And then they pushed casual mode like 2 months later. What the fuck, dude?
Would have worked. Maybe having some completely different version of matchmaking would have worked. Maybe if the game had tens of thousands of more active daily players. But
no, it wouldn't have worked. So I mean, I explained why in my video, and this isn't like a dig at Mr. Clutch here. This is just me saying what I've spoken about before. Matchmaking would have never worked in Team Fortress 2. I had like a whole 30-minute section explaining why. But to summarize these things, TF2 is far too complex of a game in order for matchmaking to actually work. Players have the freedom to change class and loadout whenever they want. We have so many different map environments that affect class effectiveness and player effectiveness, especially if they don't know that much about the map. You have so many different variables that affect an individual's impact on the actual flow of the game that no matchmaking system could ever hope to even come close to accurately rating someone's skill level. It's a complete fool's errand. Not to mention, just the mechanics of it. Matchmaking for 24 people. And the best part that no one seems to realize is that on day one, they completely invalidated the purpose of a matchmaking system by letting players come and go as they please. Because that freedom of being able to come and go as you please is completely antithetical to organizing teams based on skill. What's the fucking point? Yuzuk made a Reddit post before Meet Your Match came out where he called out the red flags of the matchmaking system that TF2 had. He hit the nail on the head. Dude, some people were calling that shit out before the betas dropped. And when the betas dropped, even more people were calling this shit out. But just as we still deal with today, what happens is that you just cannot speak ill of how Valve treats any of their games. Even in 2015 and 2016, you had people vehemently defending what Valve was doing. Oh, don't worry, they're going to fix it, they're going to address these things, because that was the common expectation. You would think the developer would actually fix the game's problems or the problems with their beta, but they just never did.
it didn't. And it definitely doesn't today. The only way I interact with the matchmaking system nowadays is doing the Halloween contracts and checking out the new maps a bit, and then never touching it again. And this, to me, is the most egregious reason why the game is losing players and turning people away. Unless you know someone who can introduce you, you are going to have a terrible experience getting to grips with this game. My aforementioned friend Kimon,
TF2's player retention is terrible for this reason.
Play TF2 with would likely never have continued playing had he not started playing just a little more than a year before doom fell upon us all. Anyway, abolishing the matchmaking system aside, I want to talk about some things I believe should be added, because the new player experience doesn't just end at the broken
Again, share your ideas, people. Like this guy's doing here. You don't need 100,000 subs. You don't need 500,000 subs. You don't need 1 million subscribers. Make your videos. For the love of God, I know that this guy and myself and a handful of others that have been making other videos about the game's problems, I know there are more of you out there. The more of these things that are out there, the better. Because guess what's out there right now? Aside from mine and a handful of other guys' videos? Not that much. You're right. We just need the discussion to happen. We just need the discussion to happen. We just need to have more people talking about it. Because I'm done with with dealing with people that say that treat this topic as taboo. It's so fucking stupid that like people just like, I guess, bend the knee to these people. Like people that get mad at you for talking about the game's problems. So fuck these people. They don't play the game anyway. Make these videos and have the discussion. Make it unignorable.
Matchmaker, because our friend is now interested to keep playing, and they've spotted that we're using a different arsenal than them. So they ask the obvious question. How do I get that weapon?
Yep, this is a huge problem. We had the unlock discussion earlier. Let's see what he says.
For a second. Without using trading bot sites, and without spending money, how do you obtain the weapons in-game? You can't. Sure, you have the random drop system, and a handful of the items being achievement items, but what if our friend wants to play with the Rescue Ranger? A very important tool for defensive engineering. They would just have to wait.
Let me take a poll. We'll do a poll here. Should all functionally unique weapons be available to the player right when they install? Because I see a lot of people that say no. But should all functionally unique weapons be available to the player right when they install? In some form or fashion, right? Perhaps, like I said, that contract system so they're not overwhelmed. Especially in the instance because you have some unlocks like the Jag or others that are in essence direct upgrades to vanilla weapons that do give more experienced players and players that put more time into the game actual advantages over others. Or weapons that exist that, oh, I don't have the counter for this or the soft counter to this. So you're just fucked whenever you're faced with that weapon. It's not a good thing that these functionally unique weapons are not given to you from day one. That's gonna make a new player confused as fuck. You don't think you don't think they're confused as fuck about the vanilla mechanics already? It's like saying there's already 50 fire ants on your dick. Why not make it 100? It's like you still have the problem of fire ants on your dick. The solution is bug spray. Doesn't matter how many fire ants there are. You need the bug spray. Yeah, the contractor has huge potential for weapon unlocks and tutorials. Yes. Make an XP system that you trade in for what you like. I don't like that either because you're having to force a player to grind the game to get functionally unique mechanics. I don't think that's okay. Let's say they did that with classes. Like, you just don't have access to the pyro before you play a certain amount of time. Doesn't that sound fucked up to you? That's in the same vein as locking mechanics behind playtime, which they kind of already do thanks to the drop system and the achievement system. I don't think that's okay at all.
Until the random drop system blesses them with the correct item that they wanted. Sure, you can craft them, but that means
When was the last time you guys actually used a blueprint to craft a weapon? I think I did this once in like 2012. Yeah, everyone's saying the same thing. Years ago, they did this once, but not recently. Love of God, Jag isn't a direct upgrade to stock wrench. That was before Tough Break. Now it's a perfect side grade. Nah, I disagree. Just being able to get your buildings up faster is such an advantage, and that's why most people just run Jag all the time instead of the stock. Nah, it's been a while.
Sacrifice dozens of weapons they have already obtained just to get one copy of the item.
This guy's got good taste in skins, I will say.
Custom skin or cosmetic that doesn't matter. No, it's an essential part of a class's toolset, and you're actively being punished for not having it. And the most frustrating part of it...
I wouldn't say punished, but you're actively being disadvantaged. You're actively being disadvantaged against someone that has, you know, something that you don't. That's not fair.
All is that Valve already figured out the perfect way of having the player obtain weapons. They just never bothered expanding on it at all. I present the Pyroland contract we got in the Jungle Inferno update. It was the perfect system.
My man. He's on it. He nails it, motherfucker. He fucking nails it. See? This is how you do it. I'm not the only one with this idea. It just makes sense. You give them an untradeable and uncraftable version of the weapon, give them a few little goals to do, and you're good to go.
For obtaining the new weapons we got in that update. The way it worked
he knows.
Was that you'd activate the contract, get a trial version of the item, and once you complete it, you obtain that item. It was perfect because not only did it give you the item,
but instead of having to complete the contract to obtain it, you just get an untradeable and uncraftable version right away, and you're not required to finish the contract. That's the only change I would make.
And that you wanted to play with. But it also taught you how to use it, instead of the wall of text that doesn't even explain properly what the weapon actually does.
It's not the worst thing to have weapon descriptions, but it's the worst thing to have weapon descriptions without first telling the player what the base stats are on your weapons and telling how to use those things. Unlocks and having unlocks would be less egregious if they just informed the player more on what the base mechanics do, which they don't.
in my blissfully ignorant, promised heavy update 2018 mind that this would be expanded upon further for all weapons. But
sadly, no.
That never happened. The best I can do nowadays is rummage through my own backpack and give the duplicates I don't want to my friends. Holy shit, Kim, please craft some scrap.
See, and I really, really hate the excuse that a lot of people do, where it's like, well, you can just get all of them for like $1 off a trading website. You can just ask someone to give them to you. You shouldn't have to do that. You shouldn't have to do that at all. These things just should be given to you if they're functionally unique weapons.
Could go on, because there are many smaller items that just make the introduction.
Non-existent bad tutorials, badly categorized class roles, I disagree with that. Unfriendly menus and UI, I disagree with the unfriendliness of some of the menus. Non-functional features still present as if they are, yes. Cosmetics ruining gameplay readability, yes. Inability to select server regions, yes. Insufficient backpack space for free-to-plays, yes, but that's intentional because they want you to spend money on the game, otherwise you can't have all of the unlocks, which is evil and greedy. Fuck Valve for doing that. Alternative game modes, some of which should have never been added, Payload Race not even being an alternative game mode. It's not. If they took Payload Race and took it out of Alternative Purgatory, you would see that game mode populated so much more if it wasn't tucked away in alternative game modes. If they pulled it out and just gave it the Payload Race category inside of the normal casual mode menu, it would be instantly populated way more than now. It's so stupid they put it down there back in 2016.
Even more of a slog. But I want to keep the focus on these big three because I believe that they are the ones shooting new players in the leg.
Yeah, those are objectively the main problems for new players. I miss Pipeline and Nightfall. Yes, me too. I miss being able to find a full Pipeline and Nightfall server whenever I wanted to. Whenever I wanted to play Nightfall or Pipeline, all I had to do was open up the server browser and boom, there would be at least 10 Pipeline or Payload Race servers, Payload Race servers, of which at least one would be playing Nightfall or Pipeline, and if they were playing Hightower or something, all I had to do was join a Valve server playing fucking Hightower, and I could vote for Nightfall or Pipeline and play it later. Can't do that anymore. Because good luck getting into a fucking populated Payload Race server! And without map timers, Hightower never fucking ends! Hightower never ends, it goes on indefinitely. It goes on for literally hours! I have player data that proves this! Because no one seeks the objective on Hightower, so it goes on indefinitely. That's one other good thing about Quick Play, is the maps that went on forever, it forced you into variety after a significant amount of playtime. You got 45 minutes, that's a lot. Then the map boat popped up, and then you can go on to the next map. Or if the map boat was never called, guess what? It would just go on to the next map in the rotation. And you got to play other maps. Players were exposed to other maps. Another horrible thing about casual mode is that it funnels everyone into the top 25 maps in the game. So many other maps that used to be populated all the time because all Valve servers were set on a set rotation based on game mode, you were exposed to all of the other maps in the game. I could always find a full Cold Front server. I could always find a full Pipeline server. I could always find a full either CTF or fucking Control Point well server. I can't anymore. I love those maps and I'm not allowed to play them because casual mode sucks.
Whereas this other stuff is more akin to the splintery wood floor they'll have to drag themselves across after being shot by these three. I'm fully aware that these issues are very unlikely to ever be touched, but I still want to hold on to the dust particle of hope that...
I don't like that anymore. Don't say that anymore. Saying, oh, this issue will never be touched is defeatism. Stop it. This is what people said about the bots. Oh, Valve's never gonna fix it. They'll never touch it. People were saying this for years. We were shooting ourselves in both of our fucking feet for years. And guess what? All we had to do was just fucking make some Twitter posts about it and make some fucking videos. When you complain, the game companies cannot ignore you. They will fucking do something. That's all you have to do. It's just fucking say something. Don't just say, oh, it's never gonna happen. It's not gonna happen if you say something. It is guaranteed that nothing will happen if you don't open your fucking mouth. So don't say this defeatist shit. Just demand that Valve fix it.
Maybe Valve caves into the players' demands, seeing as they have done so in the past.
Yes,
Yes,
that is like one of 2 instances where we actually got Valve to do something. We complained about the bots, they fixed the bots. We complained about Valve muting free-to-plays, they fucking unmuted them. And that one didn't even take that much work. It took like 2 videos. And like some people making some Reddit posts. That's all it took for Valve to unmute fucking free-to-plays. And sure, that's an easy fix, but they didn't have to do that. They could have just left it. They had no incentive to do it. They could have just fucking ignored it. But they made the changes anyways. All you have to do is make fucking noise.
Small voice in the sea of internet noise, but saying something is better than doing nothing.
Yes!
At least in this case, even if nothing happens, I can rest easy knowing that at least I tried to voice my concerns over this issue, instead of sitting silently on my ass waiting for something that was never gonna happen.
Yeah, good. Make noise.
Overall, how was your introduction
We have interviews.
to TF2?
I mean, it was a long time ago when I started playing, so it's hard to remember. What I do remember is that it was hard getting hooked on the game, with the thought of just clicking the find button and then just get thrown into a game. You don't know anything. There's no tutorial to give you any hint of what game mode you're in or what map you're...
You know what's funny? Few people know this. Do I still have that link? I think Richter sent it to me. But like when TF2 released, it was right on the cusp between print media giving you tutorials and telling you how to play the game versus everything being found online for information. Very few people know this, but the Orange Box shipped with a massive, thick gamer guide that had information about Half-Life Portal and Team Fortress 2. It gave you in-depth information about not only the maps and game modes, but also all of the classes. There's a digital PDF version of this somewhere. This is it, here we go. 352 juicy pages of how to play these games. 352 pages. Look at this. Look at that. Team Fortress 2 had all of these, which is nuts. Let's go to 280. Look at this. This shipped with the game. Like, Valve actually went out of their way to do these kinds of things. Well, fuck you for paywalling this, but you get the idea. You couldn't even do this today because nothing in the game even makes sense. No, yeah, this primarily worked with the vanilla game, but now the game is so complex, you know, good luck doing it. You can still find hard copies of this floating around out there on eBay, but like, gamer guides like that and getting information on how to play games and like cheat codes and secret things, you know, a lot of those things were reserved for magazines and game guides like that. That's when print media was still a thing. But TF2 released again like right on the cusp where those didn't really stick around or take off. And you got to remember, older games didn't have the storage capacity to ship with really fleshed out tutorials. It's no excuse. They still could have shipped some information with the game, or something that resembles a skeleton of a tutorial. They relied on stuff like that. But then when the game became popular and, you know, technology got better and you had more storage space, they only retroactively decided to make a tutorial in 2010, right before they made the game go free to play, and they just never finished it. Modern guides are hyperlinks to YouTube videos, yeah. Yeah, but it was like Valve at a time, back when they cared about the games they made, and they actually cared about their players, which they don't anymore. They went out of their way to make a very useful, in-depth guide for not only Team Fortress 2, but their other games as well. And it's sad that they just gave up, completely gave up.
You're playing, give you an overall look of how the map looks, and sometimes it's hard to navigate.
I found the game and some mechanics kind of buggy or just outright not working. Then you had the bot problem that made the game completely unplayable, and I would go several days without playing because of...
It's insane to think that so many people's first experience with Team Fortress 2 was during the bot crisis. Think about that. TF2 got new players back when the game was unplayable. Unplayable. That's insane to think about. And some people still stayed. That's testament to how good this game is. Even despite all of the bullshit and crap that you have to deal with just to start playing, on top of the other shit that's entirely Valve's fault, people will still stay. Because this game was made to be good and fun at its core in 2007. This game's fucking design philosophy is so galvanized, so steeled and strong, that despite all of the bullshit layered on top of it over the years, it is still an amazing game and makes people stick around. And that's why it is such a fucking shame how this game is treated by Valve these days. It is such a fucking shame that they can't even be asked to do more than the copy and paste job of maps, hats, and unusual effects, and then whatever fixes the community makes for them. They don't even do their own fixes anymore. They get other people to do it for them. They don't work on this game, they just copy and paste shit. That's all they've been doing since 2018. and it's a fucking shame.
That you've got the leveling and tier system with the casual badge, which was, and still is, completely useless.
Yes.
And when I wanted to obtain weapons, I couldn't help but feel skeptical about third-party item trading, and I wouldn't have known it was even
that's also something I didn't mention before, and this guy hits the nail on the head. If you want to get all of the unlocks, you have to go to either a website owned by pedophiles or a website owned by scammers. Those are your two options, and I trust scammers more than I do pedophiles. Do not use marketplace.tf. Use manco.store if you're wanting to use a third-party site. Not sponsored, by the way. I just don't want to support I just don't support fucking pedophiles.
Thing until I was shown it. I
Which
also
way,
wish
Western
that
man?
Auto-balance functioned properly. Getting rolled and knowing there's absolutely nothing you can do about it is just plain boring and doesn't make the game fun.
I think
I just thought about something. Valve showed they're willing to tank in-game economies with CS2 trade-ups. What's stopping them from Halloween restricting 90% of items in the game? Lol. Thing is, Richter, that wasn't them tanking the economy, because the CSGO economy recovered very quickly. I talked about this before the other day on stream. The whole Counter-Strike trade-up thing, that was all very well calculated. They knew exactly what was going to happen, right? They knew that the market cap was going to tank a fuckload and then it was going to bounce back because the game's market is too big to fail. Then I said this on stream before. Valve hires economists that have handled country-sized economy failures. Like, they hired the guy that fucking worked on that helped Greece get out of bankruptcy, right? These are the people that Valve hires to consult about their in-game microeconomies. Any decision they make with Counter-Strike is calculated and well thought out. It was all deliberate, and they are making fuckloads of money from that knife trade-up thing. You had the initial panic of all these people cashing out, and the initial dip in all the knife and glove values, some of which have already recovered, and some are kind of lagging behind still, and some may never recover. But look what's happening right now. What are you seeing on YouTube? Knife trade-up video, knife trade-up video, knife trade-up video, knife trade-up video, knife trade-up video from the biggest streamers in Counter-Strike. Because that's all Counter-Strike's good for now is the gambling. It's making fuckloads of money, and guess what's happening? Those knives are still selling. And Valve's making big fucking money. They knew exactly what they were doing because they consulted people that would tell them what was going to happen.
introduction was okay, primarily because I started TF2 because I saw you and Kim doing rocket jumping, which looked pretty fun for me because I like to do CSGO surfing previously.
Yeah, that's how you get into TF2, man. You're watching other people play.
Me was to go and try rocket jumping, but like when it came to playing actual games, it was always a 50-50 between either being fun or boring.
That's
What about
the casual mode
introduction
experience.
to TF2 was the most frustrating.
I'd say the most frustrating part was definitely the difference between community servers and casual. When I played community servers, I would
If I could poll every single TF2 player right now, I have the utmost confidence. If I asked the entire TF2 player base right now what they think the #1 problem with TF2 is, overwhelmingly, it would be casual mode. Overwhelmingly. Most people would think there is at least something wrong. That is TF2's #1 problem right now. That must be addressed. If anyone cares about this game's longevity and still wants to play it years in the future, that must be addressed.
more often than not feel like pretty outmatched. Like everyone was a lot better than me, and it felt kind of difficult to play. Like you know, I like.
That's something else too, man. That's a problem when you're not keeping new players and you're only keeping the older players. Is new players are only going to be going up against people that have hundreds, if not thousands of hours, which is going to push people away even harder. Because if you're constantly getting your shit pushed in, which gives you even less time to get familiar with the mechanics, that's not very fun. And that's why the people who stay are usually playing with friends that have a lot more experience than they do. And wasn't matchmaking supposed to solve that problem? I thought that's what skill-based matchmaking was supposed to address. Was that it was supposed to split up the people who were bad and good at the game. But as we're hearing from more testimonials from people that started playing after Meet Your Match came out, they're not playing against people of their same skill level. So why do we have matchmaking in this game? Why is it here? Oh, right. TF2's an esport now. Sorry, I forgot. Totally forgot. Sorry, guys. TF2's an esport now. Matchmaking somehow making worse matches than literal freeform lobbies is such an embarrassing catastrophe. Yes, it is. That's the hilarious part, is that forming games at random forms better lobbies than matchmaking ever has in TF2.
Spy, and it felt kind of difficult to play Spy when everybody kind of already knew how to deal with this.
I forgot about the $2 million TF2 esport tourney next month. It was totally worth it. You knock off, 5 zeros from that, and then you're probably in a more accurate price range.
Really easily, I guess, but I guess it's just also my skill. But then there'd be times where, we played casual and the game.
No, yeah, TF2 uses a glyco-based matchmaking system. I talked about that in my Meet Your Match video. Yes, it uses glyco-based matchmaking somehow. You have a hidden MMR rank for casual mode that is used to build games, but it doesn't work. It doesn't work at all. It hasn't worked since day fucking 1. Casual mode effectively builds teams at random because it has to prioritize populating servers because there's not enough fucking players to go around, and it ignores whatever skill level, assuming it even works, it ignores whatever skill level there is just to prioritize populating a fucking game. So just like quick play, and just like the team selection screen, casual mode builds teams at random. But when you get a steamroll that's set up by that, well, we just don't have any of the tools that are there anymore that would break it up and potentially form more evenly skilled teams because scrambles are gone. And you know what the best part about this is too? I'm talking about this in my next video, but here's a little bit of a spoiler. You know the best part about this matchmaking system? You wanna know what the best part is? Games are allowed to begin before all players connect. So what does that mean? The team that has their players load in faster is automatically going to have the advantage. More often than not, when a game begins, out of the gate, one team has more active players than the other, guaranteeing that a stomp is going to get started. And then we go through the motions. Steamroll begins, players on the losing team start bleeding off, matchmaking system starts loading in new players, but because they're assigned to a team automatically, those slots remain functionally empty until they load in, which only prolongs the stomp and the steamroll, and the first round is over in mere minutes. And then guess what happens? Half of the losing team bails out of the server, but guess what? Setup time, or the next round, begins automatically, guaranteeing the next round is going to begin with uneven team sizes, and guess what? The stomp will continue again. We have the auto balance system, but auto balance and the game coordinator literally cannot function at the same time. Go read the SDK. That is how it's coded to function. Auto balance and the game coordinator cannot be on at the same time because you can't suddenly move a player over to a slot that might be reserved by the matchmaking system. So auto balance must remain disabled until it is needed. So what happens? The matchmaking system will first look for new players to fill in empty slots, which only prolongs a misbalance when people leave on the losing team. After a certain amount of time, which seems to be fucking random, then auto balance is allowed to turn on. But it doesn't turn on right away. It first gives players on the enemy team a notification, you are about to be auto balanced in 5 or 10 seconds, however fucking long it is. But even in that countdown, auto balance does not turn on. Players can still be loaded in, and when they load in, they don't connect right away. The slot is filled, but they're not even in the fucking server. You have to wait sometimes minutes for those new players to load in, which only prolongs the misbalance and therefore the fucking stomp, and then the entire game is over, the whole server fucking resets, and everyone fucking leaves. The only reason why we have more steamrolls now than ever before is because we have two features that are completely antithetical to skill-based matchmaking. One, matches are allowed to begin before all players connect, and players are allowed to come and go as they please. Valve let those things happen on day 2. Day 2 of Meet Your Match's release. They turn those things back on. They turn those freedoms back on because that's what players expected from Team Fortress 2. That's how the game functioned for 8 years prior, and players were so fucking furious that Valve implemented abandonment penalties, which would prevent players from leaving a steamroll, and they prevented games from beginning before all players connected, so it would begin as a fair and even match at the very least because all active players would be there on both teams. Sorry, those two fundamental requirements for any matchmaking system were turned off on day 2. And since day fucking 2 of Meet Your Match's release, casual mode has been fundamentally fucking broken and setting up more steamrolls now than ever before. But you can't talk about that. It's a skill issue, just queue for a new game. Totally nothing wrong with TF2 at all. No one talks about this Except Lister. Lister made a good video. Lister made a very good video, actually. I gotta give credit where credit is due. Lister made a good video talking about those things too, but no one else fucking talks about it. And it's so easy to fix. It's so easy. It's so simple. And Valve just doesn't do it.
It would be really fun. I'd be really enjoying it. And then at the end of the match, like more than half of the server just dips. And then we have to wait ages just to get into another game that more than likely isn't going to be as fun as the last.
Okay, Nilly, I remember you telling me that you played TF2 before. Around what time did you play TF2 the most?
2015 to 2017.
How would you compare TF2 now to then?
It feels pretty dreadful to play, and this could be a skill issue on my part.
No, it's not. It's not a fucking skill issue. Stop ascribing this to being a fucking skill issue. It's not. The game is objectively worse.
Better over the years, but playing against people now feels pretty dreadful, and now having to deal with longer queue times and worry about skill-based matchmaking, which makes no sense. It feels horrid winning as a class in one map versus another map, which my class could be terrible on, and
another fundamental flaw with matchmaking. It doesn't work for fucking TF2. Like, why do you think Counter-Strike implemented different ranks for different maps? It fucking doesn't work!
Class just feels obsolete if I want to play.
What about the current matchmaking system do you think is the most frustrating?
Queue times. Easily. Queue times always annoy me.
Guys, queue time's not a problem. Just play 2 forward or upward again. You want to play on any other map? Just fucking wait. You know, just wait, guys. Like, don't. You've literally nothing to complain about.
Players.
Anybody know any good jokes? Anybody read any good books lately? Seven consolidation cents. Remind me to come back in 2 months. You not being able to find a match right now, it's obviously a skill issue. Oh, click the badge. Sorry, I gotta. Oh, God, thank God. Oh, I was getting a little anxious there. I needed something to stimulate my brain. I was feeling a little alone here right now. Oh, yeah. Oh, thank God. Thank God this is here. Oh, yeah, it's in the spot. Oh, thank God. What's funny is that would have taken longer if other people who weren't watching my stream also didn't start queuing for this map. If I wasn't streaming right now, it would have taken a lot longer. There I am, Gary. See people in my stream queued for the same fucking map. If I wasn't streaming, it would have been half dead. Or it would have taken a lot longer. See? Skill issue, obviously. I just need to not play the maps that I want to play. I just need to not play Pipeline. I just need to not queue for all these other ones that are down here. Like, even if I just want to play something like, say, I don't know, Yukon. Let's try Yukon now. See how long. When was the last time I played Yukon? Actually, no. Let's do Well. I love Well. Let's see how long a Well match takes. Now everyone else watching is going to queue for that too, but Well is one of my favorite maps in the game. Yeah, even with my viewers queuing, I only got a half-empty server. Mind you, that's a map that was added in 2009. I got an email. Nothing important. Oh, I could queue but not show the map. That's a good idea. Well, we'll see how long this one takes. You got mail. It doesn't take too long to queue for the East Coast, one of the most popular 5CP maps. Dude, I live in Texas. I have good ping to anywhere in the country. It should not take this long. I would have already found a Well server in the server browser. I would have not had to have waited that long. Let's see how full this one is.
Alert. The control point is being contested.
Nothing wrong with this game, guys. Nothing wrong with this game. Everything is totally fine. There's nothing to complain about. Valve still loves this game. Just be happy with the updates they give you. There are no bots in TF2. There's nothing wrong. No, there's no issues to address. There's nothing wrong with this at all, man. Nothing at all. Just queue for a different map, Forehead. Obviously a skill issue. Thanks, Jill. Really appreciate this. How nice of y'all. No problems with casual mode, guys. If I was a brand new player and I experienced that, if you were a new player and you experienced that, would you stay? I don't think you would. I actually do imagine seeing a really cool looking old map like Well and trying to play it in particular and that being your experience. No, yeah, exactly, Richter. Like, imagine you saw a YouTube video about CP Well, right? Imagine you saw a YouTube video about CP Well. You were like, oh shit, I want to go play Well. That looks like a really fucking awesome map. I gotta go play that. And then your first ever experience is what I just had. Would you keep playing Team Fortress 2? You would leave. You'd find another game that you could start playing instantly. But listen, guys, this game has no problems. At all. You're just go play on a community server. There's nothing wrong with casual. Everything's fine. The bots are gone. You know, fixed TF2 worked. All's well. You're just complaining for the sake of complaining. You're only doing it because it gets you clicks. It gets you views. Motherfucker, I just want to play the goddamn game. It's Friday afternoon. I'm not doing this on like a Tuesday. It's Friday afternoon.
Than me always makes me demotivated to play and want to alt F4 if I'm playing solo. Not only that, is playing with friends is basically impossible because the matchmaking system won't drag them in even if a person is already disconnected. That slot will just stay empty either the entire match or they'll get lucky after like 30 minutes to get in.
No, yeah, because you guys saw that, right? The player lost connection, the yellow text. When a player loses connection from the server, that slot becomes reserved for an indefinite period of time. For up to minutes, that slot will not be able to accept a new player. It just stays empty, and the team sizes remain uneven. That's just how the matchmaking system works. Okay, but if you travel to Australia and try queuing for Well, you'll just never find a game. There was a tool that was released on GitHub that shows all of the servers for any given region and what map they're playing and how many players are on them. If you run that tool for Australia, it's fucking bleak. There's, first of all, there's like 20 active servers, if that many to begin with. And if you want to queue for anything other than 2Fort, Upward, or Badwater, or Dust Bowl, you're just not going to be playing. You're just not going to be playing the game in a low-populated region. It sucks.
But the game will probably already be over by that time.
Okay, Kim. I remember back when you started playing TF2 that you were quite averse to actually playing.
Remind me to come back in 2 months,
nagging
yeah?
the shit out of you.
Yeah.
Do you think that you would have continued playing had you started like a year later after Meet Your Match?
Probably not.
What's your overall opinion on the current matchmaking system?
It's ass.
Those 2 words, it's ass. That is the most common sentiment with players right now. I know I sound like a broken record. We just need more people saying this. We just need more people making noise about this and everything else we've just experienced. It's okay to complain, because when you do, you get changes. Who'd have thought? Do it!
So you're someone who stopped playing TF2 after having been introduced to it. Why did you stop?
As a non-experienced player, dealing with experienced players is very difficult to just jump right in. If Kimon's on the other team, he's more experienced than me, so then he would easily kill me and pick me off. But that would be for like any other person that can actually like be higher level or more experienced than me.
I thought, listen, I'm confused. I'm a little confused right now, okay? So I'm very confused, actually. In fact, I can't really process what's happening here, because I thought TF2 has it has skill-based matchmaking. You have a skill rank. You should be placed into games, I think, based on a skill rank, but it doesn't. Why is this happening? I thought matchmaking was supposed to make better lobbies. I thought it was supposed to do that. I really thought that was the whole point. So why are people complaining? What's going on? I don't understand. I don't get it.
And then it's not fun for new players to get picked off very easily.
You just have a
It's not
personal
fun.
vendetta against Kim.
Mostly, yes. I'm scared of Kim.
It's really insane to try and show someone new TF2. You inevitably realize that the game has just become a complete ass. It's literally a ruined game. IDK, if I have it in me to pretend anymore. No, yeah, there's why even pretend? TF2 is a ruined game. It's okay to say this. And it wouldn't take that much work to unfuck the fucking.
Being on the enemy team and killing me off right consistently. So yes, PTSD from Kim.
Do you think you could have gotten into TF2 on your own?
No, I had the privilege of having you as a teacher.
Yeah, that's
to
how
show
most
me
people get into the
what
game
is
these days. Someone
sorta good
ushers
and
them in.
what I could do and the settings I had to go through. But if I just picked up TF2 on my own, I do not think I would have gotten hooked on it at all. It would have been so confusing.
Yes, I probably would have, but I would not have played most of the classes.
Absolutely not.
Do you think people do not see this as a problem because all the downtime is spent on their phones, something that should never happen, IMO? No. People who don't see these things as problems, they don't play Team Fortress 2. I'm fully convinced that they do not play Team Fortress 2. Because anyone with a brain who plays this game would acknowledge that, yeah, this is not good. And those that do play the game and say there's nothing wrong, they're being intentionally obtuse. They are deliberately ignoring the problems because there's some other value in saying these problems aren't there. Only like 20,000 players on a free game like this is kind of nuts. This game could easily have 100,000 players daily. Yes, it could if they just made these problems go away, which would not take that much work.
Like I stated earlier, I only started playing because I saw you doing rocket jumping, and I didn't even know that it existed previously until I saw you
Steam
doing
matchmaking
it. I do
ASMR,
remember,
clip
like,
that,
quite a
make a
few years
2-hour
ago,
compilation,
trying
shut
in
up.
TF2, and I don't remember why, but I never even made it past the main menu, so I basically gave up immediately. So without your help, I probably never would have touched it.
Absolutely not.
These players' experiences are universal, the most common, guaranteed. You will not find a modern player that had a good first impression unless they were playing with a friend and had them ushering them in.
It's actually not fun for me to queue solo.
Why do I insist on hoping TF2 will get better? Let me quote a passage from the book of James. This is my favorite Bible verse. Faith without works is dead. You can have all the hope you want. You can have all the faith that you want, that Valve will do the right thing. But if you don't do the legwork, if you don't raise concern, if you don't voice your thoughts, nothing is going to change. You can have hope, but if you're not acting on it, you're fucked. So put in the work. All of you guys who have no followers, no subscribers, nothing like that, you are also players. Make your own videos like this. The more people that speak about these problems, the better. I'll say that as many times as I have to. Waiting for a TF2 match ASMR.
With the current matchmaking system, I am bound to find people who are better than me at all times because of the SBMM system.
Thank you for watching, thanks for your time, and if you want more,
there you
here's
go.
some stuff on your
So
screen.
that was... Oh, no, go back. Well, this is his channel, so that's okay. Hello, Clush. That was Clush's video on new players for Team Fortress 2. I will link his channel in here right now. Please go give this man some love. Go give that video an upvote and subscribe to the guy because he says good shit. He's spitting, as the kids say. So go give this brother some love because you know, we need more people doing this. It was a very good video. You know, it was a very good, it was a good video and it was a simple video, right? You don't need to put hours of research to give your own experience on the game.